I lost 600 LP in 1 week. That's right, 600 LP. It was a little bit over a week. I went from Grandmasters 590 LP all the way down to Master 0 LP, all in the course of 1 week. You know, I was Grandmasters for the past 2 months, you know, Coach JS, all of that stuff. And I lost it all in about, it was about 9 or 10 days. And the reason I want to make this video is because it's really important we highlight our own failures as well as our successes, right? I made a video telling you guys when I hit Grandmaster. I just hit Grandmaster in League for the first time. You know, I keep making videos talking about my clients' successes, right? All the people in the JS Academy hitting Masters and whatnot. But it's important to talk about the people who don't make it as well. Or with our own lives, looking at ourselves, it's important to look at our own failures. Because failure is the biggest opportunity for learning, right? When you're just going into League and you're winning every game, you're not actually learning that much, right? You're not progressing in terms of improvement. What winning is, it's just expressing that you know more than your opponent right now, right? There's not a lot of opportunity if somebody's not showing you where you're wrong. So when we lose, the game is telling us that we're wrong about something. So our biggest failures, when we get knocked down, that's where we get to learn our weaknesses. And that's where we get to kind of tighten up. And that's where we square away that part of the game. And it can suck. Like, that losing is where most of our value comes from. But that can suck because we hate losing, right? We absolutely hate losing. So oftentimes our emotions can get in the way of us taking out what we need to from the games, right? So we need to be able to take out our emotions out of it. And I know, like, I'm going to get a million comments under this video. And they're like, oh, but JS, I'm emotional because, you know, I don't get any value when my team's inting me. And it's like, I hear you. And let's address inters first. That's what we're going to talk about first. I actually had one day during this like 10-day streak of losing where I had genuinely one of the unluckiest days I've had all season. You know, I haven't had a day that was just like a full day of just unluckiness this season yet. Which is crazy because I play all the time. So like genuinely unlucky days don't happen that often. But this day was. The first game, I was against a high challenger laner on a smurf, and I held my own, but my team still lost, and it's like, okay, well, if I can hold my own with the challenger guy and my team's still not going to be relevant, and I'm not going to be able to carry that, I'm just not at that level yet. The next 2 games, my bot lane's literally AFK'd, literally left the game, like actually, not just like chilled and like just stop-inted, no, they left, as well as Arcane was like 1-12, and things were bad. And then later in the day, I had a game where I had the only kills on my team. It was like a 25-minute game. I'm playing Victor mid. I'm the only person with kills, only person with KP, only person doing damage, only person who won lane, all of the unlucky things, right? The reason I'm mentioning it is because it happens to me too, right? People come to me and they're like, Coach JS, I'm getting all of these unlucky games. How do I climb? And here's the beauty of League. Everybody gets unlucky games. Everybody. You get them, your teammates get them, the enemy team gets them, and I get them. Everybody gets them. Anyways, I had 4 genuinely unlucky games back to back. And it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it hurts. And the rest of that day, I played 7 games, I believe. And I had 3 games that were not acceptable performances on my part. And what happened was I had those unlucky games, like 4 in a row. I just didn't even think it was statistically possible. But I have those unlucky games and my playing level went down. So I had 3 games that were winnable, but it didn't matter. I rage picked a Nivea in one of the games. I picked an Annie and I just kind of sprinted it in one of the games. These are things that should not be acceptable for me to climb. They're not things I do when I'm playing at my best. So let's assume that those 4 unlucky games, I'm going to lose no matter what. And I played 7 games total. Well, if I just perform my best in the other 3, well, then I'm down 1 game for the day, right? On my genuinely unluckiest day of the season, I'm down 22 LP. But since I got emotional and I got tilted and I started to underperform, I turned a day that should have been down 22 LP into a day that I was down, add an extra 3 losses on there. I was down like 150 LP, or 7 games worth of LP. I was down like, I don't know how much I lose right now, but I was down like 150 LP worth of games. It was absolutely ridiculous. And this is a common pattern. people often will have one unlucky game, or maybe they'll even have two, which can happen, right? And then they'll int themselves for the third game and the fourth game. And that's one of the biggest takeaways from my losing streak, is that I get emotional when I lose. Now, I get emotional, but I can't feel it. I don't feel myself get really angry. You know, I don't lose a game. I'm like, oh, I'm going to cry. I lose a game and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And I queue up again. And I don't feel emotional. But when you look back and compare my first game of the day to my third game, if I lost the first two, my third game obviously shows that I'm emotional, right? So this is really a hard problem, because if I get emotional, but I can't feel it, that means I'm going to underperform, and I'm not even going to know that I'm underperforming. I'm just going to be confused, and I'm going to feel like I got unlucky the whole day, even though my performance noticeably dropped from the outside. So this happens to all my clients, like all of the time. People will often have one unlucky game, and then they'll int the next one, and they won't realize that they int the next one because they're not noticing that they're emotional. And some people are lucky enough to be able to feel kind of that emotionalness and take a step away. But for those of us that aren't kind of aware enough, and I'm one of those people, we have to set ourselves rules. We have to have something external tell us that we're emotional. And there's actually a pretty common rule. I call this the 2-loss rule. I know a lot of coaches recommend this. It's basically where if you lose 2 games, you're done for the day. Or you're done for the block at least. You're done for the playing session. You go take a break for an hour or two, whatever it is. This is a rule that helps emotional players recognize when they're emotional. And this is a rule that I had to implement. I can't tell after 2 unlucky games that I'm emotional, but I am, clearly, because my gameplay proves it, even though I don't feel it. So that's a rule I had to implement for myself. Previously, I didn't think I had to, but my gameplay has proven to me I have to. So that's a rule for you guys too. If you guys find a similar thing where you have like 2 unlucky games and then you find the rest of the day you struggle for, that is a good rule to handle that. And there's more rules similar to that you could look at. Maybe if you have ace on op.gg, you take a break. Maybe if you feel kind of tired after a game, maybe that's a sign for you to take a break. Whatever it is, you have to find some sort of sign that tells you you're underperforming. Okay, so all of that was on one day of my losing streak. My losing streak continued for like 10 days, like a little bit over a week. So that means not only was I getting emotional within each day, but I was also sabotaging myself on the longer term basis, right? Something about the way I was approaching the game was just wrong. It just wasn't working well. And this is the biggest takeaway from the video. When we have extended periods of losing, or even if you have extended periods of going even, that's the game telling us that we're approaching the game wrong. Right? If I have 10 days of losing, I'm probably not playing correctly or approaching the game correctly, or I'm misunderstanding something over those 10 days. When you have that happen, you have to evaluate your own process, your own approach, your own philosophy. You have to challenge your own worldview, which is like very hard. It takes a lot of humility. This is why a lot of people get hard stuck, because they would rather just kind of keep throwing themselves at the ladder until something sticks rather than kind of challenging themselves. So after this week, I had to look back and I had to say, JS, what is wrong with you? What is going on in your brain? What do you think about solo queue right now? And how is that perspective harming you? How can we change that to kind of maybe find a more positive angle? And I realized over these 10 days, I was not reviewing my games. I was not taking notes. You know, I normally like to take notes on a pen and paper. I was streaming every game on my Twitch. I was playing with Twitch chat on. I was getting very distracted from the follows and the subscriptions and Twitch chat and people talking about me, and I always want to look at it. I was very, very distracted. And I realized, wow, those are all things that when I'm hitting my peak, I'm not doing any of those things. I'm taking notes. I'm reviewing every game. I'm playing in blocks. I'm not playing all day at one time on stream, right? I'm playing 3 games and I'm taking a break. And then maybe I'll play 3 games later in the day and I'm taking a break. I'll never play more than 6 games a day. Never, right? And I had to get into that. I had to reevaluate my approach to solo queue. So now I am back. I'm back to doing my review. I'm back to writing my notes. You guys can see here. I got my little notebook, of course. This was on the 22nd, so a couple days ago. You guys can see I actually played a block today that I got a couple of notes down. Today's the 25th when I'm recording this. You guys can see. And yeah, we're writing our notes down. I'm doing my process. I'm playing in games of 3. I'm taking a break. I'm playing in games of 3 later. I'm reviewing my games. I'm doing them off stream. One thing that I actually am doing, rather than streaming them on Twitch, I'm streaming them in my Discord, in my academy, in the JS Academy Discord. And my academy students are able to come in and they're able to watch me play if they want to. I play full def in though, so I can't interact with anybody. And then afterwards, we get to review it together. And that's been really interesting because sometimes the high elo guys will come in there and I'll get to kind of review it with one of my peers. And that's a really powerful tool. Having somebody who's kind of in your rank, giving you a different perspective, you know, even if they don't play the champion or anything, they have a different perspective on the game at my same level, right? We have some Grandmaster guys in the academy that are helping me out a little bit. And then even somebody who's not at my level, they can still point things out or they can ask questions. It's really valuable for them. It's really valuable for kind of everybody in the call. It's been a lot of fun. So that's been my new process. I'm streaming my blocks in my Discord, which has been interesting. So feel free to check that out, the JS Academy. But I just want to show you guys that it happens to everybody. I get unlucky games. I also int myself sometimes, just like everybody else. But the difference between a person who can climb for life and somebody who kind of just peaks and then stays in the same rank for a long time is how you react to these losing streaks. So I hope you guys got value out of this. Let me know how you guys like the video. Also, JS training camp. It's this weekend and there's not that many people signed up. I thought we were going to get more signups, so there's not that many people signed up. So that means everybody who signs up is going to get a lot of private attention from me. I will watch you play live games. There's lots of lectures. You guys will get lots of time to talk to me. We will do lots of cool events, lots of 1v1 practice. So it should be awesome. Make sure you guys sign up. I'm really excited to see how the first one goes. See you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Peace.